So it turns out that I made a big mistake in installing macOS Catalina and Windows on this machine, and that is I did not flash the firmware from a 4,1 Mac Pro to a 5,1 Mac Pro. This is a 2009 4,1 Mac Pro. Now for this specific model, Apple released a firmware update that would allow you to upgrade the firmware in this from a 4,1 to a 5,1 Mac Pro. At the time, I didn't really see a reason to do that upgrade, but I soon found that if I did do the upgrade, it would open up a lot of opportunities and a lot of capability for this machine. For instance, it would open up more support for various graphics cards, which is something that it's an upgrade that this machine really needs. It would also open up support for different or newer CPUs. It might also have some software benefits as well. So really, it's just overall a good idea to flash the firmware in this machine. Unfortunately, after I had already installed macOS Catalina, I had found out that the software that allows you to flash the firmware is too old to work on macOS Catalina. It only works on macOS Mojave or earlier. Now this computer, like natively, cannot run macOS Mojave with its current specifications. In order to do that, it would need to have a metal compatible GPU. Which is definitely not what's in there right now. So I'm going back even further. I'm going back to the last supported OS for this machine, which is macOS El Capitan. Right now I'm currently downloading the macOS El Capitan installer. This will let me, similar to the macOS Catalina installer, it'll let me create a boot medium, which will probably be this same flash drive actually, in order to boot into the boot medium and install it from there. Whether or not it'll work on macOS Catalina, I don't know. I hope it won't have any problems, but we'll see further once it's actually done downloading. All right, let's see if this will even run without it like causing problems. Oh, it's opening. I will say that's a pretty good sign, even if it's just verifying very slowly. The fact that the fact that it's even trying to open it now, I think that's a good sign. The question is, how long is this going to take? Seems like it's going a little faster. Not that much faster though. Wow, I'll be honest, I was not expecting to get that far. I was expecting to encounter like something like that. The developer needs to modify this to work on this version of macOS, or this app will not work on your version of macOS. But anyway, this is pretty good so far. You'll be guided through the steps necessary to install this software. This will take up at least 7 megabytes of space on your computer. So what it's going to do now is it's going to install, well, in essence, it's going to install the installer. Which is basically, it's going to install the application that's going to create the macOS El Capitan boot medium, which will allow us to write it on this. All right, then it looks like this will take about 2 minutes. Before this, while this is going though, I wanted to take a minute to kind of correct a mistake that I made in my previous video. Before I said that there were multiple partitions on one of the drives that for some reason could not be erased. I was wrong about that. There was something else on here. It's this OWC Mercury. I don't even know how you pronounce that word, but I was wrong about that. This is actually not a partition that cannot be erased. This is actually an SSD that's within the machine. It is a PCI SSD. That is actually faster than running a SATA disk like I have installed in the computer right now. I saw that and automatically kept assuming, oh, this is just a partition that can't be deleted. And it's like, I thought it was one of these drives here. Like there's two partitions on the macOS Catalina drive. This is my boot camp drive from Windows 10. That was another mistake I made in my previous video. I installed Windows 10 without boot camp, but I assumed that this was a partition from one of these disks, but it was not. It's its own drive. So I'm going to be installing macOS El Capitan on this, and hopefully I can just take the macOS Catalina and boot camp drives out while I install it and while I'm flashing the firmware, and then put them back in like nothing even happened. That's the plan. I'm gonna leave this uninitialized for now. That was also the installation was successful, but that was the problem that I kept running into, or not problem, but the message that I kept seeing whenever the thing started up. It would say this disk is not readable by this computer. During the video, I thought it was some kind of like optical drive error. Like I had like a disk in there that was unformatted. It was actually a PCI SSD. I'm going to move the installer to the trash. Now, I believe there is a specific way you have to do this. As you can see, anything graphics related is really slow. I have since found out that the graphics card that's in this machine is the original graphics card that this computer came with. So it really struggles with anything graphics related. Install OS X El Capitan. Oh, so I may have actually missed a step here. So on Apple's webpage that says how to create a bootable installer for an older version of macOS, essentially, there are a list of commands that you can use. So I assume this is for creating an install media for this version of macOS without having to actually start the installer itself. We'll find out if that's true or not. Anyway, I'm just going to plug this into the machine here. It probably still has the Catalina installer from the last video. Oh, actually it has boot camp on it because that's what I used it for last. Anyway, I'm gonna macOS extended journaled, just erase it, call it El installer. See if that works. Okay, all right, that looks like it worked. So what I'm gonna do is run this command in terminal, assuming I can find terminal. Here you are, if you decide to load correctly. All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste this into terminal. I'm gonna change it from my volume to, what did I call it? El Capitan installer. It doesn't let me go back. It also doesn't let me select everything. So I'm just going to paste it into text edit, change the directory, and then paste it into terminal. Paste. Change that to Tan installer. Yep, that looks good. Now I'm going to paste that into the terminal. What? L is not a valid volume mount point. What? Replace. It says replace my volume with the name of mine, unless I did it in the wrong place. That might have been the problem. There's a slash between L and Capitan. I don't know why that was there. Let's try it again. Command not found. So it means that slash was supposed to be there, but it's causing other problems. How is it not a valid volume mount point? Like it's there. You should be able to find it. Oh geez, this is like unbearably slow. It's El Capitan installer, that's what it's called. Maybe, oh, hold on. Maybe that's the problem. Command not found. So how is it that the Apple command has this here? Like, so the Apple command has this slash in front of L, and it's the same here too. These assume that the installers in your applications folder in My Volume is the name of the USB flash drive. I don't know, maybe we could just call it My Volume instead of El Capitan installer. I have a feeling that's not actually the problem. My Volume. Sure, why not? Let's do that. Ready to start. Here we go. To continue, we need to erase the disk at... Okay. Wow, that was... I did not think that was going to solve the problem, but... So if you want to make this installer, all you have to do is just rename it to My Volume. I mean, it said it would work if you just replaced that My Volume name with the name of your volume in the command prompt, but apparently they were wrong. Copying installer files to the disk. Wow, this is going a lot smoother than I expected it to, especially after that error. Now, before I reboot into the El Capitan installer, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the hard drives in here, just so that when it comes time to actually install El Capitan, I don't format anything I don't need to. So I'm going to take out the drive running macOS Catalina and the drive running Windows. The PCI card, it's not really visible from here, but it's right above the graphics card there. It's that extra thing that's on top of the graphics card there. So that's just where that is. Hopefully it still works after not being used. So. Okay, let's boot it up. Well, looks like that worked. First thing I'm going to do is go to Disk Utility in order to initialize the disk that I'm going to be installing this onto. Here you are. Oh, it's labeled as an external disk. So, oh, it says SATA. So, I don't know. We'll find out what happens. OS 10 Extended Journal, GUID partition map. Wow, this is already, it feels like it's running faster than macOS Catalina was. Probably because this is a lighter operating system compared to Catalina. Let's go ahead and install OS 10. All right. Agree. Yes, agree. The mouse is very slow. Here, install it there. About 10 minutes remaining, so it says, but it will probably take a lot longer than that. So I left it for a couple hours, and it looks like it's gotten stuck on this screen. Yeah, the bar has not moved any, so I'm just going to do like a hard shutdown here. Normally after this happens, or after the installer runs, it's able to boot from the drive that you installed macOS on, or whatever OS you have. So let's just see if it'll boot up without the flash drive. Man, for a PCI SSD, you would think this would be a lot faster. Oh, that's not good. So maybe it actually install. I'm just gonna boot it off and restart it here, holding down the Option key. Ah, there we go. I hope it doesn't get stuck again. Wow, that is loading incredibly slowly. Now it says installing, so I think it's just going ahead installing the OS now. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up by unplugging the flash drive, but we'll see. I wasn't paying attention, but the install is done, and wow, this is a lot smoother than macOS Catalina. And here we are. This is macOS 10 El Capitan in all its glory. Man, this is way smoother than macOS Catalina was on this thing. All right, so we have the SSD here. It's in yellow for some reason instead of the color-coded thing it was before. Oh, so it still thinks this is an external drive. So most likely, if I drag this to the trash, it'll crash the system. So let's not do that. Need to figure out where exactly to go here. Oh man. Oh man, this is, in the last video I had problems with the Safari too. I'm just gonna download Firefox real quick. This is the right thing. All right. Now I need to go download the firmware from Apple's website. There it is. The icon didn't load. That's not a good sign. Where's the download button here? Okay, it looks like I'll have to use the Mac Mini after all. Actually, I don't have to. I can just put the macOS Catalina drive back in. Here. All right, let's open it back up, shall we? This goes back in. Not like that. Like so. Not sure if you can hear it, but the system is quite a bit louder without the side off, or with the side off. But also, it didn't boot up to the right thing, so I need to restart. Gonna hold down the Option key this time. That is not the right drive. I'll be right back. I'm fairly certain the Mac Pro is not meant to have its drives being yanked out every 5 minutes, but it'll just have to do for now. There we are. Yep, there's the macOS Catalina hacked boot screen that I know and love. Again, I really should upgrade the hard drives in this thing to an SSD at some point, but that is a project for another time. And the hard drives are working fine for now. They're just a little slow. Do I want to back up with Time Machine? No, because that has important stuff on it. First thing I'm going to do is wipe the flash drive so I can put the firmware on this. And then I'm just going to boot back into El Capitan. There's nothing really exciting going on here. Transfer with macOS Extended Journaled. Erase. There's the download button that I needed. It even shows the new Mac Pro up there. It does have very similar design traits to the original cheese grater Mac, but it's not quite the same. Also, there's the ugly 23-inch or 24-inch iMac next to the 27-inch iMac, and I think that's a Mac Mini or a mouse or something, I don't know. The focus block on my camera always moves to weird places, and it's not touchscreen, so I have to use a little joystick to move it back around to where I need it to go. Okay. Nope, not text edit. Close text edit. Drag the EFI update, and there we go. Let's go ahead and shut this thing down. All right, now we're back in El Capitan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, and I'm just going to leave it open like this. Now I'm going to open the firmware tool itself. Need to drag it to the desktop first. Right click, then open. There we go. This program will allow you to upgrade a 2009 Mac Pro to 2010 firmware. Upgrade to 2010 firmware. Since this is open in the background, it should pick it up right away. Okay, so this is now going to explain what I need to do. So to complete the update, I need to shut the system down, then hold the power button until the power indicator flashes, or until I hear a long beep and then release the power button. A gray screen with an Apple logo and a progress bar, it's a big thick progress bar, will appear while the update is taking place. When the update is complete, your Mac Pro will start up normally. This may take a few minutes. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. I'm going to shut it all the way down, not restart. Okay, I'm just going to take the old hard disk out, or not old, but the Catalina disk out. Man, these do not like to come out. All right, I'm just going to put the side back on so it's out of the way. All right, so power button. Need to push it and hold it down until it beeps, or until it flashes. One of the two. All right. All right, we're in business. It is not flashing. All right, let's try that again. All right, I'm just gonna unplug that. I don't really need it right now. And I'm gonna hold down the button. All right, let's see what it does this time. Oh, it didn't work. All right, I'm just gonna keep doing this until it works. You know why this isn't working? It's because I forgot to disable system integrity protection. Yeah, we're not gonna get very far without that disabled, so I'm gonna restart. This time hold down Command R. All right, we're back at this screen, except it's to disable something rather than reinstall something. So I'm going to go to Utilities, Terminal. So the command to run here is all right, let's get back to it. All right, let's see if it works this time. Oh, yep, it's going. Can't see it because the brightness is on too high, but it's going, and it even ejected the drive, which is a normal thing that it does while flashing. Yep, as you can see, it has the thick bar there. So yeah, I'm just gonna. All right, so this is already looking pretty good. So I imagine that when I start this back up again, it'll work just like it did before, except this time it'll identify as a 5,1 Mac Pro instead of a 4,1 Mac Pro. And then the biggest test will be to see if I can just reinstall the Catalina drive without it having any sort of problems. Oh, and it's restarting on its own. How fancy. I think the big reason why this is faster than the Catalina installation is because this is running on an SSD. I think that's a big reason why. And we're back. Let's see. It's system information. Where do I find it? Is it in here or system report? Let's see what we got. And we do got 5,1 Mac Pro. All right, that looks good. That's pretty good. So now this will give me the ability to upgrade to a metal supported GPU. I've actually ordered one on Amazon, and it should get here anytime between Friday and next week. But it's not a recent graphics card. It's a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 680, which is not by any means a new graphics card, but it's newer and more powerful than the one that's in there right now, which is, well, it doesn't show it right there, but it's better. It has way more VRAM by comparison, and I'm not going to be doing any gaming on this anytime soon, but it should be able to do like basic, navigation in like menus and stuff like this. It should be this smooth once I get the graphics card in there, or at the very least I'll be able to do some video editing on this, and not the problem that I had in the last video was that I couldn't run DaVinci Resolve at all because it couldn't, like the graphics card was so old that it couldn't even support basic color grading. So yeah, this is looking good so far. I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down and put both of the drives back in, just to see if I can just start it back up like nothing even happened. I'm going to make sure to put these in the right order here. I kind of scratched up the top of the case here from putting the hard drive on there. This is drive number 1 with macOS Catalina on it. This will go here, in theory. Drive number 2 will suffer a similar fate. It definitely scratched up something in there, but it's internal, so who cares? All right, let's boot it up. We got boot options for days on here. You can actually see that the El Capitan installation made a recovery backup of itself, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for EFI boot. Yeah, it is noticeably slower with the hard drive. I'm pretty sure this is most likely related to it being installed on a hard drive. I can hear it kind of spinning up in there. All right, well, we're in here. As you can tell, it's not as speedy as El Capitan, but that could be because it's both on a hard drive and it's a more intensive or more demanding operating system. Let's see if it's identifying as a 5,1 Mac here. System reports that it is indeed a 5,1 Mac Pro. All right, well, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Now I'll be able to run my metal compatible GPU. The graphics card will give me more opportunity or more capability with this machine. So I think this is a good way to go. And it also gives me, it opens up a different route, it opens up a route to go with more advanced CPUs here. I think it'll only take Intel Xeon CPUs, but now that I've flashed it to a 5,1, it'll let me use newer CPUs. So yeah. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. One more thing before I close out this video. I did actually order a metal compatible GPU for this thing. It's the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 680. So it's not really a new card, but it should work better, a lot better than the card that's currently in the Mac Pro right now. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do this with the camera in the way there, but yeah, there's the graphics card that's in there right now. Let's get some light in there, actually. That ended up being brighter than I needed it to be, but all right. So first thing I'm going to do is take out the existing card. So I ended up needing to do this on a table because I just cannot see what I'm doing. But I think I can just... I'm trying to like maneuver the card out of there, and I don't think it's working. It's coming out right here, but I can't pull it out from this side. So you're actually supposed to take this out, which is a retaining bar that I was unscrewing from right there, And now, in theory, it should just come straight out, and there we go. Unhook the connectors there. They've probably been connected for 12 years. And out you go. Here's the old card. Has this long bar at the end there. So this new card, it came with little cables here because you're supposed to plug this into the motherboard, but it looks like the motherboard already has those cables connected. Maybe this was like the high-end version of the Mac Pro that came with the better graphics card back in 2009, and it just came with those cables pre-installed. Let's go ahead and slide that in there. I should take this out so it's out of the way. This is indeed the PCI SSD that I did not notice before. Alright, so now the card goes in there. It should slide in like so. Keyword should. Okay. Oh, that doesn't help. So this thing never moves out of the way. Which is convenient when you're trying to screw in the retaining bar. I cannot get this to go back in there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that out right now. Plug these in here. Alright, it's installed. I hope that's in there good. It's not going to go anywhere because it's supported by this thing, but still, this should go back in there and it's not. So, I don't know, maybe I'll try to do that later, but for now I'm just going to boot it up and see if it even works. I'm not exaggerating when I say this thing weighs 50 pounds because it didn't lock it in place. Without the mounting bracket in there, I don't see how that helps. Alright, let's see if it even boots. The fans didn't ramp up like they normally do. Oh, there's video. So right now it's booting off of the boot camp installation. I probably have to install the drivers for this thing. But already this is a good sign. I mean, the graphics card is clearly working, so that's good. I don't know if this thing has any Mac specific drivers. I can, for now, install the Windows drivers. Oh, well, that's my screen size there. Let's see if it detects the graphics card. I mean, well, obviously it does, but if it lists the type of graphics card. Well, I can't seem to view the graphics card that's in here, but the CPU temperature here doesn't look too concerning. It looks about normal. So even though the fans didn't ramp up, they're still working. So I guess this time they just didn't. I don't know why, but nevertheless, that's it. I've successfully completed a 4,1 to 5,1 firmware flash, and then upgraded the graphics card to one that's 5,1 compatible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.